Hey, hey, it's been a minute. Hi. And Beth is off to the side trying to distract me. She's doing a really good job. How do I add this to... Okay, well, I don't think... I guess I'll have to share it to my personal page later. But... Anyway, hello, the Joy Goddess is back.
Woo, yeah!
It's been a really interesting couple of months. It just has seemed very much like one thing after another has happened with my health. And I sort of talked about it a little bit, but not in its full detail. I was basically kind of forced to take some time off from, showing up live and from doing all of the Facebook things. I mean, I was still posting. I was still pretty active on Facebook. But as far as showing my face, I was just like, couldn't do it. And it all kind of started with like a few abnormal labs that happened over the summer. And that for me was just like a huge wake-up call that I need to, hi, you're pretty too, that I absolutely 100% have to put my health first. And that was the first wake-up call, is that, my blood pressure was borderline and my cholesterol was high and my triglycerides were high. I mean, I had all of these things, right? So I was like, okay, time for some lifestyle changes. So I dove really deep in, and at about that time I was in some pretty intense rehearsals for dance rehearsals for the show that I was in. I did the musical Mamma Mia over the summer. So I started getting a lot of exercise really quickly. And then it was like, then it became about, okay, I need to adjust my diet. And so I've been adjusting my diet and, we always could be doing better. Now we're in the holiday season and it's like, ooh, there's pie everywhere. And, like apple pie is my favorite seasonal food ever. So, but I'm actually finding that I definitely think about it a lot less than I ever used to. And I really attribute that to having gone through the spiral. And I went through spiral for the second time over the summer. And I feel like those attachments that I used to have for food, it's not that they're completely gone, but they're way more manageable. They're just so much more manageable. And, I fully believe in that work. I mean, that work has been so helpful in my food journey and in my health journey, and using the tools that I learned from not only practitioner training, but just having gone through the spiral twice now, has just been really helpful throughout this entire process. And I'm getting to some more of the stuff. So I started making significant changes in that. Upon the conclusion of the show, I was just noticing that my right hip especially it was always hurting. And I thought, I hurt myself in the show, and there was a particular dance move that was kind of difficult for me to do, but I continued to do it. And I was like, there's only 9 shows. There's only 9 shows. I just have to get through X amount of shows and I'll be fine. But it was still hurting. It was still hurting a lot. And I thought, okay, so maybe I've overused it. So I was icing a lot. I was resting a lot. And then actually went to the doctor to kind of get it checked out. They recommended me for PT. And I went to my first day of physical therapy. And they're doing all of the tests, seeing my mobility, checking things out. And the guy notices that, I'm thinking that my right side is being overused. And I'm thinking, the whole reason I was going to PT was so that like I could strengthen up my left side and keep my right side from being overused. And then it turns out that wasn't even the issue. So the doctor, he's touching both sides of my leg. He has me close my eyes and he's touching on, on my outer thigh all the way down through like the bottom of my calves on both sides. And I can't feel really what's happening on the left side. I can't feel him touching it. So he's suspecting that there's some sort of back issue. Well, I don't know what exercise did it. I don't know what happened in that examination that caused this issue, but I woke up the next morning in the most excruciating back pain that I've ever experienced. I was laid out. I had ice. I couldn't even really work much. I had the laptop on my lap, but I was just like, I just couldn't. I was just in too much pain. And that lasted for about 3 days. And then I injured it again about 5 days after after it healed. And so I was laid out again. So I've been having this thing going on with my back. I finally went in for an MRI last week, but I still don't fully actually know what's going on with it. Right now, the back is feeling fine. It's twinged a little bit, and I still have to be really careful about how I move, but, yeah, so that was kind of what was going on health-wise, and it was just making it really hard to show up. It was making it really hard to, like, deliver the message and to do the things that I know that I need to do. And in that time off, though, I mean, we never have anything happen in our lives that aren't complete lessons to us, right? In that time off, I definitely had a lot of time for reflection. And, there were, especially when I'm laid up and I'm like antsy and I want to do stuff, I was like, okay, well, this is interesting. Where is my mind going and what do I want to do? And I'm like, I want to be working with my clients, because there was a span of about 3.5 weeks where I wasn't even seeing clients because I was either A, in so much pain that that it was distracting and I wouldn't have been able to give them what they needed in their sessions, or B, I was under so much medication that I wouldn't have been able to have a coherent conversation. You should see some of my text message exchanges with people. They're kind of funny. But, so there was a time that I couldn't even see my clients, and I was like, I want to see, I want to see my clients. My clients are like, they are on the most amazing journeys, and they are moving forward in their lives so beautifully. And, particularly there was somebody that I was supposed to do an integration session with I was supposed to do her integration session for the spiral. And, hey, Anya, nice to see you. I was supposed to be doing her integration for the spiral, and it was like, that's her last step before like her spiral journey, with me is complete. And I was like, and I had to move that. I had to cancel it. I had to move it because of the pain that I was in. And so it just like became really clear. I mean, I feel like, I've been hearing a lot of messaging, particularly with my mentor, Leah Steele, and a little bit from Maria Portes, if you follow her. But, a lot about how this time right now is a weeding out of the people who really want to be in the spiritual space, who really want to be the spiritual leaders on this planet. And, for me, having this downtime and like feeling this urgency, because I can feel the urgency in the collective. I can feel the push right now in the collective. And it was like, I was feeling that when I was laid up. I was feeling like, I need to go on a live stream. I need to do a thing. I need to write a post. And it wasn't anxiety inducing at all. It was just like, I'm laid up and I want to deliver the message. I'm laid up and I want to be a leader in the spiritual space. And I was, for a little bit unable to do that. I was unable to do that for several weeks. And, so this time is a weeding out, and it gave me time to really figure out, like, is this what I want, and is this what I'm doing moving forward? And it's like, yes, this is absolutely 100% what I'm doing moving forward. And, the other thing too, so yes, I got clarity during this time of what I'm meant to be doing, my work that I'm meant to be doing on this planet. And then the other piece was that, we're headed into a 4-year. we're headed into the year of the master builder. 2020 is a 4-year, and it is a year of hard work. And I already know about me that I tend to be a workaholic. I tend to just get lost in my work, and I tend to get lost in what I'm doing. And what's interesting is that it's a personal 2-year for me, which can be about building, community building. It can be about building a team, but it's also about relationships. So I just found it interesting that, my workaholism, tends to be the biggest divide in my partnership and in my relationships. So, so it's like, it is the 2-year, the year of the relationship. And then it's also the universal 4-year of, so my challenge this year is going to be balancing, the work with my relationships, right? Hey, Adria, so nice to see you. So that was kind of the second thing that really hit me. Now, the third thing, kind of on top of all the health issues, was that I've been on this really, and I'll start sharing more of this and, hopefully kind of help people on their own journeys with this, was that, but the third thing that I was sort of going through during all this time was some pretty intense shadow work. Like some really intense shadow work. And, I wasn't one of those people that, did a class on shadow work and then learned how to do it and blah, blah, blah. It wasn't even anything like that. It was just literally, I had thing after thing after thing after thing staring me in the face. And it was like, well, you can't ignore this aspect of yourself anymore. You can't completely deny this aspect of yourself anymore. And, anyway, so what ended up happening, like if I were to simplify everything, like all of the big mess of the shadow work and consolidated it down to one little single truth, was that I am in a place of finally embracing my duality. So I talk about all the time how I'm a double fire sign and I'm fire, 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 fire. But the thing that I don't talk a lot about is the fact that I'm actually a Gemini moon. Duality is in my nature. Duality in my emotional state is very much in my nature. And that has been a battle for me over the past, however long I've been in the online space now, of being the joy goddess and trying to figure out well, what do I do with myself when I'm not joyful? That has been the issue. And it's like, well, yes, I'm joyful. And I also rage, and I also, and I get to be all of the things because it's actually in my astrology that I get to be all of the things. And, I recently came into some new knowledge about, light feminine, light masculine, and dark feminine and dark masculine. And this entire time I'd been trying to marry my feminine and my masculine. And it was like, I was consistently showing up in the light. I was always showing up in the light. So even I would describe my inner masculine as kind of like, I kept describing him as this poet, this very just kind of yes, structured, yes, firm, but this sort of easygoing guy. I have this easygoing kind of surfer dude, masculine inside of me. And it's like, no. I have a very surfer dude, poet, sensitive, but structured masculine. That is my light masculine. I didn't even think to look at the dark masculine until all of this stuff started happening, to make me kind of look at those darker aspects, right? So I get to be all the things. And it's and I get to do it and not have to worry about showing up completely in joy, because actually being completely in our joy means that we get to fully express all parts of ourselves, because the joy is always underlying that. The joy is always in being able to fully express what needs to be expressed. And I've known that conceptually for a while now. It has taken time to fully land in me that that's the way that it gets to be, and that's who I get to be. So Let the masculine be the poet and the feminine be the muse. Yeah. I mean, yes, for sure. But also the poet, and that's the other thing, Anya, is like also the poet who writes simply joyful, happy, one-dimensional poems all the time. No, the poet also gets to be that deeper, darker side, right? So those were kind of the big lessons and the big takeaways from my forced time off. The universe had some lessons to deliver that I wouldn't have listened to otherwise, that I'd been getting. Like, I can look back and go, oh, that was a sign. Oh, that was a sign. Oh, that was a sign. And, I can go back and I can look at that way. And, but the fact is I am a double fire sign and I wasn't listening, and that's my work. That's my work that I get to do for myself. So that's what I have for you today. I am definitely going to be on here a lot more often. I'm definitely going to be a lot more active. You're going to see my face a lot more.
Yay, your face!
Yay, my face.
I love your face.
All right, I love your face too. I love how I have my own little entourage here. It's fantastic. Anyway, I want to let you know about Black Friday sales because I literally have everything priced ridiculously right now. My spiral is half off. It has an extended payment plan, which means that you would be paying less than $100 a month. Like, that's kind of a badass deal. So if you have been considering spiral, get your ass in my spiral container right now. Get your ass in my spiral container right now. Hey, duality. I'm happy and whatever, but also y'all need to get your asses in my spiral container. If you've been considering spiral, now is the time to do it. Get into it now. Even if you can't start right away, even if you can't start until the new year, get in it now. Get in it at this price range. Get in it now. It's the most affordable I have ever made it. This is even less than my pre-sale price that I did before, like back over the summer. Like, this is the lowest it's ever been and the lowest that it's ever going to be. So if you want in and you want in at the lowest possible rate for me, get in on it now. I'll drop the link here in just a second. The other thing is, if you've been curious about an Akashic Record session with me, if you've been curious about some of my courses, I have Akashic Record sessions are also 50% off right now. And I Unfunk Yourself, which I announced well over the summer as well.
I got the unfunk. Who's got the unfunk?
It's a study into the 5 bodies and how to nurture and deep dive into the 5 bodies. So I've already done 2 classes for it. It's Journaling is My Jam, which was formerly Write Your Way to Joy. Journaling is my jam, and I've got From Survive to Thrive, which is the energy course. But if you want the other 3 modules, it is $66 for the remaining 3. If you're not in those other 2 classes, then obviously you get those other 2 classes as well. So a total of 5 classes, 1 for each of the 5 bodies. That is $66. Original price $155. So you're gonna want to get in on that. My Akashic Records course is staying 50% off through the weekend, through the end of the day on Sunday. So like basically everything's half off or like more than half off. So get in on anything and all of the things that you've been wanting to get in on. And hi Janelle. So yeah, it's amazing. The offers right now are amazing. So especially the spiral run, I can't emphasize that enough because I know that there are several of you who are going to watch this replay, and there are people on right now who have reached out to me about spiral, who have talked to me about spiral, and now is the time. Get on board now. Computer's being slow. I'll get the link for you. Yeah, so the Akashic Record sessions are 50% off right now, and the course is $222 right now for 6 weeks. But I will say that I already have at least 3 more course content sessions in mind. So it's going to end up being a total of 9 weeks.
That course is ridiculously good.
The
She
course is
over-delivered. It's amazing. Buy the shit. Do what I say. Forget her. Do what I say.
And do what I say.
Buy it.
Oh my gosh.
I love her.
The course is ridiculously good. I did over deliver, and the fact that I still have kept it half price is kind of ridiculous, knowing that I'm going to be delivering more content in there anyway. So as soon as this thing loads, I will drop the link, but I should have had this prepared. But hey, I'm a little out of practice. All right, there we go. And did it post? Awesome. Excellent. All right. They're the Black Friday deals. It doesn't get any better than this. So get in on all of the things, and that's all I have for you. You'll be seeing more of me. I'm back. And I'm healing. So thank you very much for being here, and I'll talk to you all soon. Mwah.